Hegemony Rise of Caesar follows the trek of Julius Caesar from his first campaigns in barbarian territory in Gaul. The game features an interesting mixture of Total War and Europa Universalis. From Total War we get the generic battles, and from Europa Universalis we get an intricate economic system. And it's all done in real time. The game was an early access title for a few months and then it went live. It was actually really weird to see, because generally early access games can go on for years. But it made a lot of sense. This is a game that is trying to pretend like it's an indie title, when it's not. The owner of the publisher is Calypso Media, one of the largest publishers in Europe. They make Tropico. They have tons of profits, and they wanted to make a new publisher under their roof that would publish titles that feel indie, but in reality they are not. The game itself is just a campaign, one full campaign. There is no multiplayer and there is no skirmish. You have the option to continue a level after you have finished it, but it's finished by that point, so there's not really much point to continue on. The power of the game is exactly how open it is. Most games like this are very linear. You just go down one narrow path and that's it, but not this game actually. In this game you have a lot of threats on multiple fronts and there are many ways of dealing with those. The campaigns are also very broad in their scope. You start off with a very small province that might have 2 cities. You have to balance your soldiers with your income. Your soldiers need to be fed or they'll lose morale and become functionally useless. You need wood in order to build structures. These are the 3 resources of the map, and these have to be connected to a city in order for you to be able to use them via trade routes. Forts, in turn, can be loaded with wood and food to build defensive structures and supply your units with food to aid you in laying siege to towns. Cities themselves can be linked, and as you grow and grow and grow, you need to worry about continuously having more resources and dealing with armies of enemies that increase in size. Armies themselves can be very complicated in nature. You will gain legion forces that only you can have, then you can conscript skirmishers from the general populations. Archers and slingers provide range support. There is an anti-archer unit. There is a cavalry unit. There are sea units. There are siege towers. There are anti-infantry siege tools. There are spearmen for the cavalry. You really need to get that right perfect mixture of units to deal with your enemy. Each unit gains experience and can be upgraded into various support classes that provide large benefits. After each unit dies, they return to the place where they were created and slowly regenerate over time. Even this regeneration is actually part of the game's built-in logistics. It gets insanely complicated, and if anything, your downfall will often become your empire having too much military and not enough resources. Okay, so this sounds great. So what's the problems? Well, there's a few. One is that the pacing of the game is a little bit off. Matches will take several hours to complete, and there will be no easy victories. As well, the game crashes quite often.
He sent in a cavalry unit after me, actually. Fascinating. That cavalry unit instantly died. Oh, don't crash. Please, don't crash again. And don't, no. No, oh my god, no!
These games are based around large-scale tactical battles that, in the giant scope of things, you're supposed to feel like a person moving pieces on a giant board. But when you zoom in, it should feel real. Total War and Wargame have done well in the past, because when you zoom in, it feels exactly like what they are emulating. This one, not so hot in that regards. This game does offer flanking mechanics, but they actually seem to be too dominant. Just one flank can entirely wipe out an enemy from 100 to 0. But with that said, the game does have its charm. If you can get the game to not crash as often as it did for me, best of luck. I am using an AMD-based graphics card. It's worthwhile playing on sale, but if you do have that AMD graphics card, be very, very wary of playing it. It does offer 4 distinct campaigns, of which you can start any of them from any point in time. And is it really worth buying? Probably not. The game is designed to more or less scam consumers into thinking it's some indie game that is supposed to have flaws that give it charm, but instead it's just a game that really should have never left early access.